Hi, I'm Chef Massimo Capra and I travel the world in search of good food and interesting places. And today I am in my favorite place in the whole world, the city of Cremona, Italia. And why is this place so famous? 3 things. 1, Stradivarius. 2, Torrone. 3, I was made here. I'm going to meet up with Chef Sergio Carboni and together we're going to cook up a Cremonese delight. But first I want to take a walk and maybe get a violin lesson or 2. There's nothing better for me than visiting Cremona, my hometown. That's the Torto di Cremona. I know this place very well. I love visiting the shops and looking at the window displays and having my favorite treat, Torrone. You just can't visit here without having this delicious candy. So I had to take some for my walk home. Torrone is one of my favorite treats. And after having tasted the best that the city has to offer, I really wanted to see how that was made. Get this, Torrone is very simple. 3 ingredients: almonds, honey, and egg whites. And guess where the egg whites come from? Local chickens. No, perché questo qua è 10 hours, 3 ingredients, and you get the best tasting sugar treats that I know. Torrone. Oh, wow. Wow, it's still warm and it's delicious. Cristiano showed me around the factory where they make all kinds of Torrone treats. And believe me, I've tried them all. Hey, any self-respecting Cremonese has to love this stuff. This candy factory is like a modern laboratory. But everything here is done by hand and according to the oldest family recipes. I could have stayed here all day. Ah, che bella quella lì, con la glassa su. Later I'm gonna meet Sergio. He's a good friend of mine and we're gonna do some real Cremonese cooking. I know the ingredients that we need, so I'm gonna do the shopping myself. Yeah, come va?
Hey Massimo, welcome to our society. I prepare some taste for you. This one we have a provolone sweet kind.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Can just taste that?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is sweet tasting, huh?
Yeah, sweet one.
Taste the land, you smell the land over here, you smell the soil, you smell everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so good, it's so sweet.
It's perfect.
This is the taste of home.
You wanna know how we produce this cheese?
I'd love to see that.
So we can.
Shall we go and take a look?
Okay.
Chin chin.
I
went to see the cheese manufacturer and I was in cheese heaven. I saw the whole process, but man, those provolones were too big. I couldn't take one home. So I gotta settle for a slice. The cheese is ready. They're gonna lift it and drain it and bring it to the form. So this basically, the cheese is shaped in a certain way and is pre-established by the consortium of cheesemakers. It was exciting for me to see how my favorite cheese is made. Just so you know, it's grana padano, and there were loads of it all around me. Man, this is amazing. This is the best cheese in the world. Grana padano, amazing. These cylinders are for draining the excess milk and forming the cheese. These numbers over here are all about traceability. We know exactly where this cheese was made, who made it, what time of the morning. And you know what? This is all about the quality of the cheese, knowing exactly where it's coming from. Wow, this is provolone. It's made similar to mozzarella. It's a stretched dough, basically. And what they're doing is they keep cutting it and piling it up to increase the level of acidity or the pH level. Once the curds are dried, the pieces are put through a blender machine that puts moisture back into the provolone and makes it softer.
di lavoro qua, dobbiamo lavorare.
Then, they're shaped by hand and put in a water bath to be strung. This cheese is called caciocavallo. Does it look like a nice little booby? Caciocavallo. Normally, the stuff is made in the south of Italy, but about 100 years ago, a company decided to come up here because we make a lot of milk. Now I saw the big boys, the big provolone. This unique cheese is strung with a rope that actually holds its shape. I wanted to take one of them home with me, and many other cheeses that I saw here, but I just couldn't. Oh, this is so beautiful. All of these provolone surrounding me, you know? I mean, these are the smells from when I was a little boy. I remember this. This is heaven to me.
Del 2011.
I'm not kidding. I was in cheese heaven. But we weren't finished yet. Pietro wanted to show me another special room. Oh, io non l'avevo visto.
We are stuck.
We are stuck. We're stuck. It's okay. I like cheese. We're gonna eat our way out. Let's go. Let's pick one up and let's start munching. In Cremona, mostarda is fresh fruit preserved in mustard essence. That's good. This is the true mostarda di Cremona. Fresh fruit, an enormous variety of it, a little bit of mustard essence to make it really spicy, delicious.
Andiamo. Adesso ti faccio.
Andrea took me for a quick tour, showing me the first step in making mostarda. What we have in here, in this big cauldron made out of copper, we have quince puree with sugar, and it's just boiling. It's boiling and boiling and boiling for about an hour and a half. It's going to reduce and become the jam. And before it becomes jam, they're going to add a little bit of mustard oil. That's all it is, nothing else. Puree, fruit puree, and sugar. When the mustard essence was added to the mostarda, it was like being hit with pepper spray. It made me cry. Not that I know what it's like to be hit with pepper spray. Oh. Whew. Now that's a spicy. Oh. Since I was there with nothing else to do, Andrea put me to work taking the new quince jam from the conveyor to the drying pallets. I thought I was doing a good job. I guess he's screaming at me because I'm putting them all, you know, like that. And he's the one that started it, not me. It's time to meet Sergio. I've got all my ingredients and they're all local products. And all traditional things that I grew up with. And I'm sure that Sergio's gonna really appreciate them. And together we're going to cook a great meal. Sergio has a great restaurant just on the outskirts of Cremona. All right, Sergio. I felt so at home at this place. When two Italian chefs get together, it's always like home.
Molto piacere che sei qui nella mia cucina.
It's a pleasure to be here. Qua, so, you know, I'm at home. Sono a casa. I pulled out the ingredients for Sergio, and he said we were going to cook something magnificent.
Importante.
Provola.
La provola, anche questa è una cosa meravigliosa.
Padano.
Grana padano della nostra terra.
This is all our products. Okay, so let me move this stuff out. Let's talk about the menu.
Allora,
cosa facciamo?
Oggi facciamo qualcosa di cremonese, facciamo due paste rappresentative della cucina cremonese, i marubini, che poi li faremo in brodo, perfetto, con i tribrot. Facciamo i tortelli di zucca, siamo nella terra della zucca.
This is the land of pumpkin. We have to make pumpkin squash and pumpkin ravioli and squash ravioli. That's what we have to make.
Facciamo una zuppa di fagioli, lo stracciamuse, un altro piatto cremonese di una volta.
Sì, ma if you're not from Cremona, you wouldn't understand that. Stracciamuse means dirt in your face, soup. It's a soup with beans. It's amazing.
E poi mettiamo su anche un bel brasato.
And then we're gonna
brasato di guanciale di manzo.
Oh, and then we're gonna make a beef cheeks braised with wine, and it's been marinating. I can see it right on the table over there. It's amazing. Okay, sulla gamba,
La
no?
pernice anteriore.
These are beef cheeks that they've been marinating in red wine. And look at the color of the wine. I mean, that's really full red. I mean, that's beautiful with vegetables. So the meat is infused with the wine and the vegetable flavor. Now we're gonna strain it. Here. Paletta, mask. Oh. Smell that. That is already great smelling. Okay, perfetto. This is the start of the soup. Celery, onion, carrots, and potato. The beans are being pre-soaked and cooked already.
Quelli lì sono già cotti.
Ok. So we're gonna take them off the
Quelli
fire.
sono
Li tiriamo
cotti.
fuori dal
Acqua
fuoco.
salata.
Yeah. Salt and water, salata, acqua salata?
Sì, acqua salata
Perfetto.
con un po' di salvia, di erbe,
Perfetto.
di aromi.
Beautiful. Un bel po' di olio d'oliva.
Sì, olio
nice
d'oliva,
amount of olive oil. Aglio.
L'aglio no, l'aglio lo metto dopo, alla fine
Alla
viene
fine.
profumato con l'aglio.
So then we're gonna cut them a little bit big. We're gonna extract the flavor by sauteing it and reducing it and caramelizing the vegetables. Then we're gonna add the beans, and then we're going to puree it all. We're gonna blend it so it becomes really fine texture. The best braising meat is always something that has a lot of fat and a lot of gristle, you know, but not the type of gristle that is really chewy. I'm talking about the kind of gristle that is nerves, that stuff that really melts and becomes really tender and delicious. Perfect. Oh, look at all the spices. So we are adding a little bit of cinnamon, and what he's doing is actually breaking it all up. So he's leafing it.
Chiodi di garofano.
Cloves. And this is classic of this area.
Ginepro
Juniper berries, black peppercorn,
e noce moscata.
and nutmeg. Spices are super important in braised meat. So the first thing that we do when we are cooking is always starting off with the things that take the longest. So the things that take the longest, like the braised meat, needs to cook for like 2 or 3 hours. So let's start off that one immediately, put it in the oven, put it on the stove, covered, and wait. Gentle, you know, and then you start doing all of your other things. So now we add the wine back, the same wine that we marinated the meat in. Sergio told me that it's important to use good wine. I couldn't agree with him more. He then wanted me to cut and add the tomatoes to the vegetable that he was cooking. Oh, just a little bit of white wine in the soup. See, I like that. He said that a little sprinkle of white wine. He put about 2 glassfuls. So now in the braised meat we're gonna put a little bit of tomato paste.
Ecco, una cosa importante da aggiungere
Sì.
al brasato è la mela. Nel brasato ce la metteva mia nonna.
See, you always learn something new. The apple, that I never seen before, because I've learned to make braised meat in Piedmont, which is far away from here. Fresh herbs. These are all from your garden, eh? Tutto dal tuo giardino? This is the beauty, eh? All the fresh herbs from his garden. So while Sergio is putting the broth inside the braised meat, I'm going to put the beans inside my base here with vegetables. So,
Il suo brodo di cottura in fuoco.
what do you say, Sergio?
Perfetto.
Basta?
Basta.
Okay. 3 hours. Covered, broth just enough to cover the meat. Seasoning right away, because if you don't season it right away, you're not gonna get a good flavor at the end. Covered, simmer very gently. That means like blub, blub, blub. Not blub, 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 blub. Okay. The Italian word zucca means pumpkin. And boy, can you make some good filling for tortelli pasta with it. So this is the pride of Cremona and Mantova, squash or pumpkin. This is an actual pumpkin. This is how it grows. It came from America, started growing over here, and look, we made something that is absolutely fantastic with it.
Vedi c'è poca acqua.
There's just a little bit of water in it, so that means that we're gonna be steaming the squash. Wow. Ah, look at that. Oh, look at that. See that? Amazing.
Nel tegame mettiamo un coperchio
Okay.
rovesciato.
Upside down. Yeah. Big pot, this much water, a lid inverted so that the handle is in the bottom and it lifts the lid. On top of the lid, you put the squash, a cloth to keep the vapor in, and then a lid to maintain the heat. And then you turn it on, medium heat, and you steam it until the squash is cooked. That way it's not soaked with water. That's it. So simple.
Questa è pronta.
The squash was ready and cooked perfectly. Sergio and I scraped the meat off from the skin and we started making our filling. Now, make sure that the squash is cooked, okay, but not mushy. So that will take about an hour in the steamer. Then we have to scrape it off and we can put it through the machine to puree. Quante se ne metti?
Finalizzare il ripieno, aggiungiamo il grana padano.
So this is actually amaretti cookies, crumb. Okay, so basically just super fine. And
Noce moscata.
nutmeg. There you go.
Un po' abbondante.
Abundant
Il profumo della
nutmeg.
noce moscata nel tortello di zucca è importante.
And this is
Un pizzico di sale.
yeah. Wow, there you have it. Squash filling, okay? This, steam the squash 1 hour or just about that. Grind it all up, add mostarda di Cremona and only mostarda di Cremona, amaretti, loads of grana padano, nutmeg, and that's it, there you have it. Look how yellow this pasta is. It's not sticky, it's dry, you know, I mean.
Vellutato.
Yeah, vellutato. It's like a veil, it's like a silk, okay? Okay, so now we're stretching the pasta with the rollers, okay? Now, one important thing is that every single machine, even if they're the same brand, they might stretch it in a different thickness. So what's important is to remember this. If you're eating it right away, try and make it as thin as you can. These are called tortelli, eh? Si chiama tortelli,
Esatto,
no?
tortelli di zucca.
Tortelli di zucca. Sergio was very precise in his cuts. They were perfectly square. I added the squash filling in the center while Sergio folded the pasta over to form the tortelli.
No, filet su limone. Filet puoi imparare una volta, ma se non vai avanti a farli.
We were making the marubini pasta, and Sergio was on my back because I was going slow. So you know, I was going slow because I wanted to make them perfect. E I tortelli con la coda li sai fare? Sergio and I shared stories from our childhood. I told him how my mother taught me how to make tortelli, and Sergio showed me his technique.
Poi li devi far su con Cioè ti tiene questo piccolo.
Sì, no, ma con gli altri intrecciati.
Ah, no, tipo i
Piacentini, ma i tortelli piacentini.
No, filet su limone. No?
There are so many ways of folding pasta. It varies from town to town. Sergio grew up only 20 kilometers from me, and he had never seen the shape that I grew up with. But hey, we are in Sergio's kitchen, so we do it as Sergio wants. Devi vedere che roba che mi fa. Ostraga. You see that? He folded one in a different way just to show me, and then he threw it away because it doesn't belong with the rest of them. Extra virgin olive oil, so we are just heating it enough so that we can actually extract the flavors from the garlic and the herbs, and then we're going to put it into the soup. È fina, eh? Perché devo farla proprio fina, eh?
Non è fino.
See? Yeah. This soup needed to be pureed and mixed to a fine but thick liquid. While the soup was being blended, Sergio added some of the broth we made to boost the flavor. Then he strained it to take out all the clumps and to ensure we got a very rich and smooth puree. Now, we added also beans to the soup, and then we're gonna add a little bit of pasta. Mwah! The pasta is gonna be long one, so that when you eat it, it's gonna splash everywhere, all your face, and that's what the name is, stracciamuse. You see that? That is perfectly cooked beef. I wish you could smell it. But now, we are going to put this aside and we are going to pass the vegetables through the food mill to make the sauce. Via, giri te o giro io? Giro te. Sergio did the heavier work grinding the vegetables with the food mill. So I gave him a helping hand to finish the sauce. See, when you have the perfect balance, the sauce is perfect. You don't need to do anything else to it. Oh, look at that. That's a perfect sauce. Then we put the meat back into the sauce and we let it simmer on low flame for about 20 to 30 more minutes, just to let it absorb more flavor.
Yeah. Altri 20 minuti, mezz'ora, dentro nel suo fondo così che si insaporisce ancora di più la carne, a fiamma sempre molto, molto bassa.
Now, this broth over here is world famous because in Cremona they say we have the best broth, and thanks to the 3 meat, the broth or the stock actually is a more complete flavor. It's really well rounded and it's really appreciated by all the gourmets worldwide. Oh, spettacolo. Però quelle costine là ce le cuociamo?
Certo.
There is a couple of pork spare ribs in there and I just want to put some salt on it and just eat them like that. Guys, I wish you had the smell in this place, man. It's so good. It's so good. Nothing beats a beautiful old chicken, a piece of beef with lots of fat and bones, and a nice chunk of pork. Ah, that gives it a nice flavor. Cooking pasta always kickstarts my appetite. And boy, am I hungry. We've been working all morning. Yeah, perfetto. Perfetto. This is ready. It's a matter of minutes. The pasta is fresh. All it takes is a little bit of heat and it's cooked. After boiling the pasta, we placed it in a frying pan to give it a gentle saute with butter. Nothing better. Wow, what a feast. This is tortelli di zucca, marubini, soup, braised meat. I mean, we have everything. Look at that. That is incredible. Okay, we're gonna make a quantity that is gonna be enough for me. La nevicata, this is... Yeah, this is what I always say. Snow on the mountains. Look at that, that cheese. Abundant. That's the only way. The stracciamousse with the bean puree was cooked perfectly, and Sergio added a little olive oil to top it off. Anche lì? No, no, non c'è bisogno. Pepper, yeah, beautiful. And finally, the braised meat. We had so much food, but that's okay. It's our Italian way. Yeah. And then, this is imperative. At this time of the year, brasato, braised meat with polenta. Sergio, grazie mille. Thank you very much for having me here. I mean, this is exactly what I was looking for. All this seasonal food from my area, and I don't get here often enough. So, grazie per avermi ospitato e per aver lavorato con me. Salute, Sergio. Grazie. My. Amazing. Sergio Carboni is a very lucky chef. And his restaurant is the pure definition of from farm to table. He's using eggs from his own chickens. He's raising his own pigs. The cheese is made from milk from local cows. And he's got vegetables growing all around him. And it reminded me of one thing. For the Italians, it's very important to sit down and enjoy their meal, even in today's hectic times. And one more thing. Buon appetito!